So let's talk about something that nobody really wants to talk about when it comes to investing. It's not about picking the next hot stock, it's not about timing the market perfectly, and it's definitely not about getting rich overnight. The real secret, the one thing that separates successful investors from everyone else is discipline. I know, it's not the sexiest word, but trust me, it's the most powerful tool you have in your entire financial arsenal. It's the engine that drives your wealth-building machine day in and day out, even when you don't feel like it. Without discipline, even the best investment strategy in the world is completely useless. It's the difference between having a vague idea of wanting to be wealthy and actually having a concrete plan to get there, and then sticking with that plan no matter what. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what that discipline looks like in practice. I'm going to share 10 strategies that have stood the test of time. These aren't some new flashy fads you see on TikTok. These are the foundational principles that serious investors have used for decades to build real, lasting wealth. But here's the thing, while they're traditional, they are also incredibly forward-thinking. In a world that is constantly trying to distract you with the next big thing, the most radical move you can make is to stick to a proven plan. These strategies are designed to help you build a solid financial future, cut through the noise, and stay focused on what truly matters for your long-term success. So, if you're ready to stop gambling with your money and start building serious wealth, you're in the right place. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of setting goals, creating a plan, managing your emotions, and so much more. By the end of this video, you won't just understand the importance of discipline. You'll have a practical, step-by-step blueprint to implement it in your own life, starting today. So, make sure to hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and let's get right into it. Alright, first things first, you absolutely need to have clear financial goals. And I don't just mean saying I want to be rich, that's not a goal, it's a wish. You need to get specific. What are you actually investing for? Is it to buy a house in 5 years? That's a midterm goal. Is it to fund your retirement in 30 years? That's a long-term goal. Or maybe it's to save up for a down payment on a rental property in the next 18 months. That's a short-term goal. You need to write these down, make them real, and give them a timeline and a dollar amount. Without this clarity, you're just throwing money into the market without any real direction. There's a great line in Proverbs 29 verse 18 that says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." And honestly, this applies perfectly to investing. If you don't have a clear vision for what you're trying to achieve, you'll get lost. You'll panic when the market drops, you'll get greedy when it soars, and you'll end up making emotional decisions that sabotage your own progress. Your goals are your anchor. They're the reason you'll stay the course when things get tough. So, before you do anything else, sit down and define your why. This is the foundation upon which your entire investment discipline will be built. Once you know your why, the next step is to build a long-term strategy that aligns with it. This isn't about chasing trends, it's about creating a timeless game plan that you can stick with for decades. The most important part of this is understanding your own risk tolerance. Are you the kind of person who can stomach a 30% drop in your portfolio without losing sleep? Or does even a small dip make you want to sell everything? Be honest with yourself. Your strategy should feel comfortable to you, because if it doesn't, you won't stick with it when the pressure is on. This means choosing investments that match your risk profile, whether that's a conservative mix of bonds and blue-chip stocks, or a more aggressive portfolio with growth and index funds. Think about Warren Buffett. The man isn't successful because he's a genius at timing the market. He's successful because he developed a strategy based on his values, investing in quality companies for the long haul, and he has stuck with it for over 60 years. He's famous for saying his favorite holding period is forever. Your strategy is your personal investment philosophy. It should reflect not just your financial goals and risk tolerance, but also your values. Maybe you want to focus on socially responsible companies or avoid certain industries. Whatever it is, define your rules of engagement and write them down. This document becomes your constitution, guiding your decisions so you don't have to rely on guesswork. Okay, a strategy is great, but it's useless without a concrete plan of action. This is where the discipline really kicks in. You need to decide on a fixed amount of money you are going to invest on a regular basis, and then, and this is the important part, you have to actually do it. No excuses. Think of it exactly like a budget for your personal finances. You have fixed expenses like rent and utilities that you have to pay every single month. You should treat your investment contributions the same way. It's a non-negotiable bill you pay to your future self. The second part of this plan is rebalancing. Over time, because some of your investments will grow faster than others, your original asset allocation will drift. Maybe stocks had a great year, and now they make up 80% of your portfolio instead of the 70% you planned for. Periodically, maybe once or twice a year, you need to go in and rebalance. Sell some of the winners and buy more of the underperformers to get back to your target allocation. This forces you to follow the classic rule of buy low, sell high automatically without letting your emotions get in the way. It's a simple, disciplined action that keeps your strategy on track. This might be the single most effective hack for building investment discipline, because it takes your weak, undisciplined human brain out of the equation. I'm talking about automating your investments. Almost every single brokerage and retirement account allows you to set up automatic contributions. You can literally set it up so that on the same day you get paid, a certain amount of money is automatically transferred from your checking account and invested into your chosen funds. You set it up once, and you forget about it. It just happens in the background, consistently building your wealth without you having to lift a finger. This process also lets you take advantage of a powerful concept called dollar cost averaging. When you invest a fixed amount of money regularly, you automatically buy more shares when prices are low and fewer shares when prices are high. Over the long term, this can lower your average cost per share and reduce the risk of investing a large sum of money at the wrong time. You're no longer trying to time the market, you're just consistently buying over time, which is a much more reliable path to success. Automating is the ultimate act of discipline because it forces you to be consistent even when you lack the motivation. Discipline isn't just about sticking to a plan, it's also about having the wisdom to know you're on the right plan in the first place. And that wisdom comes from continuous education. The investment world is always changing, and the more you know, the more confident you'll be in your strategy, and the less likely you'll be to fall for get-rich-quick schemes or panic during a market downturn. You don't need to become a Wall Street analyst, but you should commit to being a lifelong student of personal finance and investing. Read books, listen to podcasts, watch informative videos, soak up as much quality information as you can. To get you started, there are 3 books I always recommend. First, The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. It breaks down investing into incredibly simple, actionable steps. Second, The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, which is basically the Bible of value investing and a must-read for understanding the principles of long-term success. And third, I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi, which is fantastic for understanding the psychology of money and automation. Making education a regular habit will reinforce your discipline and empower you to make smarter decisions for your future. This is the big one, the final boss of investment discipline, controlling your emotions. Your biggest enemy in investing isn't the stock market, it's not a recession, it's not inflation, it's you. It's the fear and greed that live inside your own head. When the market is crashing, every instinct will scream at you to sell everything to stop the bleeding. When a stock is soaring, the fear of missing out, or FOMO, will tempt you to throw all your money at it. Giving into these emotions is the fastest way to destroy your wealth. You have to learn to separate your feelings from your financial decisions. There's a powerful quote that says, "You can't control what happens to you, but you can control your response." The market is going to be volatile. That's a fact you can't change, but you can absolutely control how you react. This is where your written investment plan becomes your shield. When you feel fear, you look at your plan. When you feel greedy, you look at your plan. It reminds you that you've already made the smart, rational decisions during a calm moment, and your job now is simply to trust the process and execute that plan, regardless of the emotional storm raging around you. Seriously, just stop. Checking your investment portfolio every single day is one of the worst things you can do for your financial health and your mental health. The daily fluctuations of the market are almost entirely random noise. They don't mean anything about the long-term health of your investments, but watching that number go up and down every day will trigger those emotional responses of fear and greed we just talked about. It turns investing from a long-term, passive activity into a high-stress, emotional roller coaster, which is exactly what we want to avoid. A much more disciplined approach is to schedule specific times to review your portfolio, and that's it. For most long-term investors, checking in once a quarter is more than enough. This gives you an opportunity to see how you're tracking towards your goals, and to rebalance if necessary, without getting caught up in the meaningless daily drama. Some people even prefer to check only twice a year. The less you look, the less tempted you'll be to tinker and make unnecessary changes. Give your investments the space they need to grow. Trust your plan, let automation do its work, and go live your life. You've probably heard the saying that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, the same is true for your financial habits. If you're constantly surrounded by people who are panic selling, chasing hype stocks, and treating the market like a casino, it's going to be incredibly difficult for you to stay disciplined. Their anxiety and bad habits will inevitably rub off on you. That's why it's so important to curate your environment and surround yourself with other disciplined, long-term investors who share your mindset. This means being very intentional about the information you consume. Unfollow the social media accounts that promote day trading and speculative nonsense. Instead, join communities, whether online or in real life, that are focused on sound, evidence-based investing principles. Follow people who talk about index funds, asset allocation, and long-term compounding. When you immerse yourself in a culture of discipline, staying the course becomes the default. It normalizes sensible behavior and provides a support system that can help you navigate market volatility without losing your cool. Let's be real, discipline is hard. There will be times when you feel like you aren't making progress fast enough, especially when you see stories of other people getting lucky. This is why it's crucial to focus on celebrating your own progress and your own consistency, not on trying to achieve some perfect overnight result. The goal isn't to be the best investor in the world, it's to be a disciplined investor who consistently follows their own plan. So you need to track your progress and acknowledge your wins, no matter how small they seem. Set milestones for yourself. Maybe it's reaching your first $10,000 invested, or successfully automating your contributions for 6 months straight without touching them. When you hit one of these milestones, reward yourself, but not in a way that sabotages your goals. Don't go buy a Rolex. Maybe you treat yourself to a nice dinner or a weekend trip. This creates a positive feedback loop. You're rewarding the act of being disciplined, which reinforces the habit and makes it easier to stick with for the long run. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Celebrate the consistent steps you take along the way. Finally, and this is a step that often gets overlooked in the world of finance, take time for prayer or quiet reflection. Investing is a long game that requires an immense amount of patience and wisdom, and sometimes the best thing you can do is step back and seek guidance from a place beyond the charts and spreadsheets. Whether you're a person of faith or not, the act of pausing to reflect can bring a sense of calm and clarity that is incredibly valuable. It helps you detach from the daily noise and reconnect with your long-term vision. There's a verse in Proverbs 21 verse 5 that says, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty." This really is the core message of disciplined investing. Hasty decisions driven by fear or greed lead to poor outcomes. But diligent, patient, well-thought-out plans lead to abundance. Taking a moment to pray or reflect can reinforce that diligence. It can grant you the patience to let your investments compound, and the wisdom to not get swayed by the chaos of the market. It's the final piece of the puzzle that helps you stay grounded and focused on your journey. And there you have it, 10 proven practical strategies for mastering investment discipline. It really comes down to this. Building wealth isn't about complexity, it's about consistency. It's about having a plan and having the strength of character to stick to that plan through thick and thin. The market will go up, and it will go down, but your discipline is the one constant that will see you through to your financial goals. These principles aren't just theory, they are the actions that, when repeated over and over again, will build the future you want for yourself and your family. The power is truly in your hands. I really want to thank you for taking the time to watch this entire video. I know we covered a lot, but I sincerely hope that you walked away with at least one new idea or a renewed sense of motivation to take control of your financial journey. My goal is to provide real, actionable advice that can actually make a difference in your life, and your time and attention mean the world to me. Investing can feel intimidating, but by breaking it down into these disciplined steps, I hope you see that it's something you are absolutely capable of mastering. If you found this video helpful, please do me a huge favor and smash that like button. It really helps the channel out more than you know. And subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on future videos. And finally, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment down below and let me know which of these 10 steps you're going to focus on implementing first. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.